validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We're creeping into a pretty good Friday today. We got a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about some money. Normally we're talking about some social interactions and stuff to that effect, but today we're actually going to really get into some money. And it's because it kind of bleeds into social interactions, because you can't really go out and take somebody out on a date or anything to that effect if you broke as fuck. So, we try to help you guys figure out other ways to do what you do. So make sure that you like and subscribe. Mash that thumbs up button and hang out with us as we get into making yourself $1 million with just depositing $5 a day in there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about ways to get us some cash up in here. You feel me? Because something as simple as consistently taking $5 a day, every year round, can literally build you up a level of capital that you otherwise would not have had. So we're going to be talking about that today. And we're going to be trying to dig deep. Remember that we are live 7 nights a week. We typically try to start around 10 o'clock. We're running a little bit late today. We had some issues with the internet. And also, I had got me a backup hard drive. So that kind of got in the way of things, because when I put the backup hard drive in, I said, well, I'm going to wipe my primary hard drive on a laptop so I have more processing speed. But I have to transfer 70 gigs worth of data from the show to this hard drive. So as I start transferring the data to the hard drive, I start having some issues. So that I had to pause the hard drive so that I could do the show. So that caused me to slow things down. I think I got about 16 gigs in before I had to put a pin in things. But I'm supposed to be able to get all of this stuff transcends it over sometime tonight, and then be able to ghost the hard drive on the primary laptop, which will give me more space on the laptop to run a show with better processing speeds. So we're going to see how things look tomorrow night. Hopefully, along with our flaky bandwidth in our current location, we're going to be trying to make things work. But the agent is working on getting the appraisal on the new location. So we're just waiting on that. And as soon as we finish getting that information back, we're going to be doing a tiptoe to a better zip code that should be providing us with better internet service than the current zip code we're in right now. So just bear with us. It's going to be a few more weeks. I told you guys it was within a month or two of when we first started talking about this internet problem. I was like, give us some time. We're going to have to drop $500,000 on relocation. But you got to do what you got to do for the business, right? Man, that's a big transfer. But they're also, I also want to say, they're taking a massive quantity of money off of my phone bill. Something as simple as calling your phone company and talking to them about the situation, and they'll shave you off sometimes as much as $80 to $100 a month, if not more, depending on how much service you have versus how much service you're being deprived, and that'll aid you in your ability to be successful. So make sure that you guys join me today as I take on this challenge of just turning $5 a day into $1 million, and we're going to see if we can really do this. And then we're going to see how long it takes for us to do this, because anything's possible if you have enough time and patience, right? Well, becoming a millionaire is a dream shared by many and achieved by few in a lifetime, in multiple generations. So we often think that it requires a six-figure salary, a genius business idea, or a lucky investment. Hit the lottery, something to that effect. But what if I told you that it's possible to achieve this milestone with just a few bucks a day? Sounds too good to be true, right? But bear with me, and I'll show you how saving just $5 a day can unlock the door to millionaire status. Many of us believe that becoming a millionaire requires a large initial investment or high income. But you got to keep in mind that large investment and high income is in order for you to get to $1 million in a shorter period of time. Think about that. But we think that we need to have a fat bank account or lucrative job to consider achieving financial independence, especially if you're financially wasteful. Think about that. But the truth is, most of us are stuck in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck with barely enough left over for savings. We're led to believe that financial freedom is only for the privileged few who were born into wealth or have talent for making money. What about the rest of us, though? The reality is that becoming a millionaire is not just for the lucky few. It's a goal that can be achieved by anyone, regardless of their income or background. But it does require a crucial element: consistency. Consistency in savings, investing, and growing your wealth over time. And that's exactly what we're going to be exploring today. So, how do we get stuck in this mindset that financial freedom is only for the select few? I think it's because we've been led to believe that making money is only for the smart, talented, or well-connected. But the truth is, anyone can make money and build wealth with the right mindset and strategy. Turning a $5 a day into $1 million is possible through consistent investing and the power of compound interest. Nevertheless, this process takes time and consistency. Investing $5 daily for 54 years can lead to $1 million assuming a 7% annual return. I know as soon as I said that, you were like, what? Hell no. Nah. But think about it. Even if you started at age 20, if you would $1 million, if you're looking at interest, compounded interest, and consistent investments where you're reinvesting your dividends back into your platform. Now think about this. If you invest in broad market index funds and the S&P 500 ETF, VOs can provide diversification and potential growth. If you invest in these things, you'd be able to hit that $2.5 million in probably far less time in some situations. But you're looking at $5 though. $5 a day is $50 in 10 days, approximately $150 a month. That's what we're talking about investing. One night on a town, one dinner date, $150 a month. That's what we're talking about. It's not a lot. So to say that it takes almost 50 years to get there, you would think, well, yeah, because I'm not really contributing to that. But it's still possible. You put it there and you never mess with it. And see, that's where most of us that are in the bottom 99 have our hardest issue with success, because you'll put it somewhere and because you know that you have savings somewhere. Somebody will tell you they have a problem, or you will end up in a problem. And that's the moment where you tap into that investment. It's not something that you'd prefer to do, but that's what typically happens. And then you got to start over investing all over again. Now, we've seen one investor that had a 25.84% return after 2.5 years of investing $5 daily in VOO. And I can tell you, that's a lot of money, depending on how much they invested per share and how many shares they have. You have to think about the power of compound interest accelerates growth over time. So, for example, if you had $10,000 and you invested 7% annually, 7% annual growth nearly doubles every 10 years. With a 10% annual return, $5 savings could grow to approximately $10.3 million in 40 years. So remember when I told you about the 18% interest REIT? And if you're reinvesting the dividends and continuing to add to the value of the REIT over time, you would be looking at if you were only doing $10, but that's like a couple $100 a month. If you're looking at only a couple $100 a month, you're looking at 40 years. But if you're talking about doing a 20-year plan, instead of putting $10 a day in, you're putting $20 a day in. But $20 a day is about what, $500 a month that you'd be investing in a 20-year plan to get $2.3 million at 10% interest. Now, what about that 18% or 18.5% interest that I was talking to you about? Now you're putting in $20 a day, which is around $500, more than $500 a month if you're including your interest being reinvested. And you're putting that in there every day for 20 years, and you're at $2.3 million. Actually, because you're looking at closer to 20%, you might be able to get that in 10 years. You might get $2.3 million in 10 years. That's how just putting a little bit more into something with a little bit more of a higher interest rate consistently over time can make you rich. It's still a waiting game. The difference is you're playing the long game in order to have a better future later. If you're doubling the daily investment to $10 and you reduce the time to reach $1 million to 44 years, and $20 daily takes you down to only 34 years if you're still doing that 10% or that 7% markdown. Now, the earlier you start, the more time you have to invest your compound growth. So let's talk about the power of small investing, because most of us think that we need to have thousands of dollars to invest before we can even think about achieving financial independence. But the truth is, it's the small, consistent savings that add up over time. So $5 a day may not seem like a lot, but over time, over the course of a year especially, that's $1,825. And over the course of 20 years, that's a whopping $36,500. And that's not even counting the interest you could earn on that money over time. So how can we make this money grow? One way is through investing, because investing in stocks, bonds, or real estate can yield significant returns over time in multiple countries. And the beauty of it is that you don't need to be a financial expert to do it. With the rise of the robo advisors and micro investing apps, anyone can start investing with just a few dollars. And we had this discussion before. But today we're going to be talking about penny stocks. Why penny stocks? Well, penny stocks are common shares of small public companies that typically trade at low prices, usually under $5 per share, where many penny stocks are traded on the OTC markets rather than major exchanges. And OTC markets is over-the-counter markets. Some penny stocks offer surprisingly high dividend yields, with examples ranging from 1.41% to 14.2%. Exceptional cases like Taparia Tool show an extremely high dividend yield of 395.3% through this unusual outcome. So when you're looking at 395%, almost 400%, for every dollar worth of stock that they had, they came back with almost $4 extra. So if you had a few $1,000s worth of shares on that stock and you ended up with a 400% return on that, you had a few $1,000s, you'd be multiplying that shit by 4, and you'd be looking at like, oh, that's a lot. Now, one of the problems with penny stocks is that they're harder to come by and they're harder to get rid of, based on the low values and market value, the low value of the stock and the market value, because you have underrated stocks that are priced low but have high returns, and you have overrated stocks that are priced high with low returns, and everything in between. Examples of dividend-paying penny stocks are like Power Grid Invet, which is 14.1% dividend yield that is valued at 99 cents a share. 14.1% is approximately, I want to say 1.5% close to per share, 1.5 cents per share, something like that. So like 3 cents per $2 kind of thing. But that's still good. That's still good. It's better than the banks. INL and FS investment managers, they're doing 6.6 dividend yield, and their share price is 12 cents. Now you think 6.6 ain't a lot, but you could buy 100 of those and have $1.20 and be getting 6.6% of 120 of them. Praction, jargon, praction. That's another penny stock that's 6.2% dividend yield with a share price of about 93 cents. Now, when I was looking at these things were priced by ruples. And I'm sitting over here like, this is not Zelda. But some country has ruples as a denomination. As soon as I figure out who, I think it's India. But as soon as I figure out who it is, I'm going to be scheduling a show about it, just so that I can start doing some Zelda puns. Because if you remember Ocarina of Time, you had to get all those rupees, those ruples, to buy stuff for Link when you're trying to go save Zelda. So some of the U.S. examples is Banco Santander SA, they had 4.4% dividend yields, and Pitney Bowes, which is PBI, they had 1.3% dividend yields. But here's the thing, though, more to the point. It's not just about the money. It's about the mindset shift that comes with saving and investing. When you start to see your money grow, you start to believe in yourself and your ability to achieve that financial independence. I told you this yesterday. So you start to see that your financial freedom is within your reach, and that is a powerful thing. I'm going to tell you, I still remember the moment when I realized that saving just $5 a day could add up to a significant wealth over time. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head, but right before I started doing this podcast, and I knew that I had the power to change my financial future in ways that I did not know that I could do before. And that's what I want for you guys too. So I want you to have that moment of realization, that aha moment, when you realize that you too can become a millionaire. I'm not selling you on nothing. I'm just telling you, you can make it happen. So let me show you a success story real quick, because a few years ago, I had started saving just $10 a day in a high yield savings account. And it wasn't much, but it was consistent. And over time, that money added up. I invested it in stocks and real estate. And this is before I started up my real estate business. And I'm proud to tell you that built up a six-figure portfolio, and it wasn't easy, but it didn't happen overnight. And that's one of the things that a lot of people think about when they think about investments. They think about high valued investments, putting a large quantity of money up for a short period of time to turn over a larger quantity of returns in a short period of time. And if they had to borrow that money or put a lien out against something else to get that money, they want to be able to get that money and pay back their debts, and then try to hold on to the profits and potentially reinvest the profits as they go. But you have to remember that even though it happened because I was consistent and I believed in myself, we have to understand that we also have to recognize that even in unexpected scenarios where life is not in our favor, we're not supposed to tap into those savings to go and take care of a financial emergency. We're supposed to have a financial emergency fund. And if that fund doesn't cover the emergency, then oh well. Because whatever it is stuff-wise that you're losing right now, that stuff is not going to be as valuable as that stock option that you're going to consistently invest in. So for those people who, guess what, California's still on fire, you would be dealing with a larger quantity of profits after disaster has struck if you leave your money where it was instead of pulling it out and starting over from scratch. So there are many examples of people who have achieved financial independence through small, consistent savings. And one story of a latte factory in which a woman saved $5 a day by cutting back on lattes and investing in her 401k. Today, she's a millionaire. And there are many more stories like this. And I wanted you to have your own story. So I was sitting over here thinking about, oh, hold on. I wanted to see what you guys were thinking about when it comes down to investing. What would you get from trying to become a millionaire by investing $5 or even $10 or $20 a day? It's like a pack of cigarettes for those of you who smoke. It's like a case of beer for those of you who drink. It's like a night on the town for those of you who party. If we changed our life choices and took that money and invested into our ability to become a millionaire in 5, 10, 20 years, then after that timeline has passed where we put the money up consistently and never take the money back out, you will find out that becoming a millionaire is not just for the lucky few. And you will definitely be able to realize that this is something that anyone can do, regardless of their income and background. And while reaching $1 million through $5 investments is possible, it is requiring you to have higher levels of patience and consistency and a long term perspective. This is not a get rich quick scheme. Nothing worth having that will allow you to be successful on a permanent basis is going to be a short, quick investment. Anything worth having is going to be worth fighting for. So you're going to have to put a lot more effort into making it happen. And it starts with small daily savings. It's important to note that investment returns can vary and past performance doesn't guarantee future results. On top of that, while some penny stocks offer high dividend yields, they can often come with higher risks. The price to earnings ratio and other financial metrics vary significantly among these stocks, indicating different levels of financial health and stability. So investors should carefully consider the risks associated with penny stocks, as their low share prices can lead to high volatility and potential for significant losses, despite attractive dividend yields. So, what is your opinion on investing $5 a day to become a millionaire? What about investing $100 a day to become a millionaire? That's a little bit harder to do, because that's going to be upward of $3,000 a month. So you probably would have to find something a little bit more feasible, maybe $50, maybe $300 or $750 a month. For those of you who do spend a lot of money on entertainment, you might be able to redirect your funds to something more to the magnitude of $1,000 or $2,000 a month. The more that you put away that you don't need, and never mess with it after that, the faster you end up getting to your million. So I would love to hear some of your investment opportunities and some of your strategies and plans to build yourself a higher level of wealth effortlessly. And I definitely want to hear your thoughts on saving money and money management. Do you have any success stories that you want to share, like some of the fellas that have been on our podcast before, talking about how they flipped their Bitcoin for $250,000? That's a lot of profit. So definitely let me know. Make sure that you guys, if you're new to the podcast, that you try to like and subscribe. One of the things we've got coming soon is the ability for us to talk about tomorrow, Saturday, our DEIs and our NAACP programs and the validity of those programs. We know that we're going to be talking about on Monday the plethora of executive orders that Donald Trump has done since he sat into the White House, which seems to be record highs for executive orders. And I'm going to try to get a list of all of the executive orders and what they plan to accomplish. And we're going to talk about how they directly affect us and indirectly affect us and just directly affect the people that we want to affect. That will give us that rundown of how we expect to see our country tiptoe its way into the new generation. I told you he was going to turn the country upside down. And some of the stuff that he says makes sense. And it's got me saying, you know what? Y'all did the dang thing when y'all voted for him, because I ain't going to put my 2 cents on it either way. But one thing I am going to tell you is that some of the stuff that he's doing, making y'all protest in the streets. Line up the grocery aisles and protest in the grocery aisles. Shave your heads bald and cut yourself off from social interactions. But I can tell you right here and now, it is just getting started. That man said that there was going to be drastic changes in the first 180 days. Drastic changes. So many changes are happening so fast that your head is spinning with the things that he's doing right now. So you guys will be able to see massive difference. And we're going to be talking about that on the show coming soon. We're going to be talking about what he's doing. We're going to be talking about people's idea of Elon Musk throwing up the Hail Hitler signs and the implications of that. Because you also have to understand that he's a billionaire and he's somewhat of a genius. He is in the tech industry. So a pun that would only be an inside joke to intelligent individuals would not be received by the masses, especially since it wasn't received that way when they were burning folks or gassing folks in that gas chamber in that one country that's like, nope, you can't do that again. So we're going to be talking about a lot of those things. There's a lot of trending going on right now. There's a lot of people that are popping in and they're looking at how America is going to be a different type of America for the next 5 years. And also some of these executive orders that he's putting into place that becomes laws, it over the next 4 years is going to take 25 years for us to feel the full magnitude of it. I will be retired by the full magnitude of his efforts come to fruition. However, as machines take over the workforce, I'm not even going to have to work because I've been giving you guys all the information that you need to be financially successful. And I have been showing you guys all of the steps necessary to become digital nomads and turn your income into a profit from investments so that you can go from working for somebody else to start working for yourself, living off the profits of your earnings while you're trying to make a little bit of extra cash on the side. So I wanted to thank you guys for coming to the show. Today was going to be a tad bit shorter of a show. I want to give a special shout out to Red Void. I always see you popping in. I seen you when you popped in on YouTube, and then you switched over to Twitch. So I really appreciate you coming in. I'm the 81, Liberty Twitcher, Mr. Pibbs, Reese, Cody, and I'm missing somebody. Max Opposer. Yeah, I think I got everybody. I really appreciate you guys coming to the show and showing us that support. Make sure that you guys stay tuned. We're going to be trying to get here on time tomorrow because we got a lot of stuff to talk about with the NAACP and the DEIs and how Trump's doing away with DEIs. We're going to be talking about all of the affirmative action laws that are going to be changed based on some of the decisions that Trump has been making, since that's in line with the government assistance programs or resource programs. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff in tomorrow's show. So make sure that you guys hit that notification button because the show is already up there, scheduled for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And we're going to be swinging through at 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock California time. And there goes that internet. That's another reason why the show is short, because the tower went back down again. I got to call the people back up and let them know that's going to take me 3 hours. I remember I was on a podcast once before, and I sat there for an hour and 20 minutes on the phone doing the live podcast because the internet went out. And they were troubleshooting the hotspot device while I was hotspotting for the cell phone. It was ridiculous. But this time around, I'm gonna have to have them power off all of the devices and factory reset everything. So I have to unfortunately interrupt my podcast. But like I told you guys before, as we finish closing on some of the investments that we're going right now, we're going to start seeing a little bit more internet service in the new location. So just bear with us. It's going to take us a little bit of time, but change happens over time. So I really appreciate those long diehard fans that like to swing with us. And we really appreciate y'all because y'all make us what we are. And as I walk off the show today, because today's going to be a tad bit short. Today's going to be for a lot of reasons. Today's going to be short. And as we get set up for next week's shows, you're going to see me putting up the rest of the lineup for tonight. After I finish getting the internet back up, you're going to see me put the rest of the lineup up, going through Thursday or Friday next week. So I want to make sure that you guys remember. It'll notify you. It'll bring you to YouTube, and then you can jump on from Twitch or Twitter or whatever and be able to enjoy us from wherever you're watching us from. So as I'm going out, because apparently my internet's only going to last for so much longer because it looks like it's about to flicker back out one more time. So I'm going to tell you guys on my way out the door to ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So please, ladies, say it with me, guys. Make it make sense. Fellas, one more time, I appreciate you guys showing us love on the podcast. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. And thank you guys for coming to this and that. I am your host, Xander, for this, that, and everything in between. We're going to have us a longer show tomorrow night, so I will see you tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.